Welcome back. James Creedon joins us for Media Watch. James, clearly Tahrir Square, very much a dominating event. We've been live there. We've got reports coming through the entire programme. You've been taking a look at what people are saying on social networks.
Yes, and I suppose what the most recent one that I just saw before coming on, Mark, saying people leaving Tahrir Square, some people leaving Tahrir Square because of all of the tear gas. And we've been seeing tweets throughout the day on that, people saying that they're at the front line, what they're calling the front line, and there's tear gas everywhere. I'll show you in a moment as well a couple of photos that people put up. But here you have people, and it doesn't indeed seem to be people leaving Tahrir Square, and according to this person, it's because of the tear gas. But perhaps one of the most interesting things to look at on Twitter today was reaction to the speech by Tantawi, the military chief. One person here saying they were chanting "Ira, Ira," which means leave, leave, in response to his speech in Tahrir Square. Another person as well saying, gosh, you'd think Tantawi was Mubarak's ghostwriter. Pointing out to some similarities in tone, I suppose, and in content to Mubarak's speeches back in February, I suppose. So I suppose tongue-in-cheek there. Other people saying, well, Mubarak made 3 speeches. Tantawi's on number 1, so maybe 2 more before he's gone as well. It's slightly more complicatedly expressed in that, with a little bit of Arabic thrown in at the end as well. So yes, but then there were also some people saying, hold on a minute, there were a lot of people outside of Tahrir Square, away from the centre of things, who might well have been in favour of what Tantawi said. And indeed, his speech didn't mention Tahrir even once. So clearly it wasn't directed at the people demonstrating in Tahrir Square. It was directed at people elsewhere in the country.
It's interesting because the people in the square have been calling for him to resign and for the Supreme Council of the Armed Forces to get out of power, hand power to the civilians. So clearly that's what they're calling for there. But It's interesting that last tweet saying that maybe people beyond the fringes of what's happening in Tahrir Square maybe are slightly more conciliatory.
Maybe so, and maybe not as in support of these demonstrations as they were back in February. Another person saying here, I'm not defending Tantawi, but if the army goes, what happens? Who rules the country? So perhaps that's reflecting a certain amount of the public opinion away from Tahrir as well. What else was out there? I suppose a lot of people, this was one of the top tweets in the last 24 hours. This has become like a war. So this person, they have gas and guns, and we have numbers and will, and you have photos of people in Tahrir Square as well. We are doing today what should have been done back in February, says this person, after Mubarak stepped down. So some people saying unfinished business. Mubarak left, but there's more work to be done. And again, here you can see the mention of tear gas at the front line. And this was kind of earlier on in the day when people seemed to be a lot more battling with the security forces and going up and coming back for more. So it's interesting to see the way that's being charted. And here, this I thought was very interesting. People posting photos of those tear gas canisters. And actually what you can make out there is that they're manufactured in Pennsylvania in the US.
Jamestown, Pennsylvania.
That's right, and combined tactical systems. So it's pretty incredible that what you can pick up from these sort of tweets.
And this, of course, the legacy of the great link between the United States and Egypt during the Mubarak's era, isn't it? When lots of military aid and lots of financial aid was pushed from Washington to Cairo.
That's right, and indeed what you see now is people, I suppose, joining those dots together in a very clear way. And I thought this was fascinating. A guy posted on his blog, he's an Egyptian blogger, a letter he sent in English to the manufacturers of that tear gas canister we just saw. He wasn't being accusatory in the email. He said, look, or in the letter he sent, he said, look, you're just doing your job. It's probably quite legal, but we don't want the Egyptian government to be using this illegally. Now, just
it's worth pointing out that the US government, Washington, has now condemned the violence and the whole approach of the army in this what's happening in Egypt at the moment. It doesn't stop the fact that there's obviously a stockpile of American
weapons
goods in Egypt already, but they're the facts of the matter.
Speaking of the US of A, there's one man whose tweet I think is worth showing because, you could go on and on showing that this one that we have on screen at the moment is saying, look, what's happening here is apolitical. This is not about political parties. We are Egypt. So that's one. But this one I thought I'd show at the end. Donald Trump, he got in a lot of hot water about this. Egypt is turning into a hotbed of radical Islam. We should never have abandoned Mubarak.
There you go. You can count on Donald Trump for a bit of controversy. He's trumped everybody else, should we say. James.
He was criticised for that.
James, I'm not surprised. As ever, James, thank you very much indeed. James Creedon with Media Watch. Stay with us. We're having a short break then. A full roundup of the day's news and sport and culture, including stripping for the dissident artist. Who'd have thought it? Ai Weiwei in China. His fans showing their all, the barefaced cheek of it, on the internet. That's next.